Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Idiots Talking podcast. I'm Braden.
And I'm Given.
And we're going to be some idiots talking. And today, how was your week, Given?
My week was pretty chill. There was a little bit of action that happened. Most of my week was just playing games and stuff, but I went in to talk with a teacher at my old high school to help with a lesson plan in a new subject he wanted to teach. So, swiggity. What about you? How's your week?
Pretty chill. Pretty low-key week. Let's see. We recorded on Tuesday last week. Wednesday was Champs Night. We talked about that in the last episode. And then...
Pause! I've made a severe and continuous lapse of my judgment. So, last week you went to Champs and stuff. What happened this week?
I went to Champs this week, as per usual. Then later that night, I went to a friend's house and wrote some music. And that was fun. We wrote a really good song. And then Thursday, I don't think I did anything. Friday, was probably hanging out with some friends doing something. And then Saturday was Roseburg night. We went to open mic. It was fun. Then yesterday was pretty chill. Sunday was pretty chill. We had a family dinner for both my sister and my cousin's birthday combined. And then yesterday I did nothing except hang out with you for like an hour.
I was about to say, I chilled at your house for a second.
Oh, and I also hung out with CJ for a little bit. I think that was Friday.
That was the day before yesterday.
That was Sunday.
Oh,
it was
okay.
Sunday.
Yep. Apologies. I'm probably not going to edit out what just happened. I had my alarm set for when to wake up if for some reason I slept in, and it just went off. So that's why it ran away. Okay.
All right, Given, why don't you introduce the main topic?
Today, boys and females and people of other genders.
People of all identities.
All identities. We're talking about some of our favorite movies. Braden's list is a bit more defined. I don't really like picking favorites, so I would just grab some that are pretty great. So, Braden, you want to start?
All right, I'm going to go from my least favorite of them now.
No, just your least favorite? No, I'd say start with your favorite. Only say that one movie. We'll talk about it a bit. Then I'll say mine. Because if we make a list and don't get through it, that could be, a little disappointing.
Right.
You know?
Okay, then
So
I'll
let's
start with my favorite movie of all time, which is Mean Girls.
Great movie.
I've probably seen this movie more than any other movie in my life. It's hilarious. It's funny. It's Lindsay Lohan pre-heroin, so she's kind of hot.
It is a great movie. I've also watched it a ton.
It's literally the most quotable movie in the world. Like, I see people quote the movie and they don't even know that they're quoting the movie. It's ridiculous.
Can you give us a quote? Because I don't know any offhand.
Let's see. 4 for you, Glen Coco. You go, Glen Coco.
Oh, yes. Glen Coco. Obviously. Classic. That is one that people will quote without realizing.
I know. It's like, wow.
I've actually heard that one.
And then I ask people.
It's because people say it.
Yeah. Hey, have you seen Mean Girls?
They understand it's cool.
No.
Never in my life. And I'm like, boy, get your booty to my couch. It's time to watch it the 80th time.
All right. That's all I have to say on this one. So.
Okay. Wow. Well, you come on. We gotta have a little bit more. Otherwise, we're not gonna have a lot of content.
Right.
What makes it such a good movie in your eyes and stuff? What are specific things you like?
I don't know. The last time I watched it, I was at a friend's house, and I was getting really tired. I had been there for hours, and so then we all just decided to watch Mean Girls, and then by the time it was over, I was just energized. So that movie just makes me happy.
Yeah.
When I'm sad, when I'm hitting peak sad boy hours at maybe midnight, I'll just throw on Mean Girls, and then I'll just probably fall asleep during it. But hey,
Okay.
it's a good movie. And then I really like, just how like real it could be. Like that could actually happen. Wait,
But at the same time, it's kind of like crazy.
are we gonna go into spoilers?
Yeah, spoilers 100%, so we have stuff to talk about.
Okay. Like the part at the end. Okay, spoiler alert.
You don't need to do it anymore. We only need one spoiler alert. We're going to spoil all these movies if you haven't watched them.
My camera just shook. So at the near the end of the movie, when Regina gets hit by the bus.
Yeah. It's been a while. It just popped into my memory. I couldn't help but laugh.
And then my favorite part, honestly, one of my favorite parts of the movie is the talent show scene where Damien is singing Words Can't Bring Me Down, whatever that song's actually called. And when he gets the shoe thrown at his face and then he throws it back, or when he's walking out and he looks at Miss Norbury and he just says to the mic, "Don't look at me."
That movie is just pure comedy, and it's great.
Oh my God.
It is.
Danny DeVito, I love your work.
Does that happen in there?
That's a line, yeah.
I need to rewatch it. Yeah, it is a great movie.
Yeah. All right. What do you have?
My first movie that I'm going to be talking about is The Never Ending Story. Which, Braden, you haven't watched it, right?
Nope.
I knew it. This rat bastard. It's okay.
Wait, then are you going to go to spoiler in this movie since I haven't seen it?
No, because, I mean, I'm not going to. One, because I want you to see it. And two, because the stuff that I'm going to talk about don't necessarily need to be spoilers.
Okay.
I just love how everything is done in this movie. It is an old movie, so, there's not, like, CG stuff everywhere. And I have a problem with CG stuff often because, like, you can tell it's not real. If they literally just made a prop suit that didn't look super realistic in its movements, but you could tell it was a real thing, that automatically is better to me than, like, a CG thing that moves realistically but doesn't physically look like it's real,
When did this movie come out?
Oh, 1984, I do believe. This is old. But they have so much stuff happening, so much, like, magical creatures and just amazing big scenes. And it just looks so beautiful. And I love it. So there's that part of it. And then I was going to rewatch it last night just to get brushed up. But then I fell asleep. So a big loss there. But I did realize something, which also made me kind of happy. The whole plot of the story, I can say, or the beginning of the story starts like this. So this isn't a big spoiler. So there's this kid. He likes reading. He's in a bookstore, and this book. Big fact right there. This bookstore owner, he's reading this book, and the kid's like, "What you reading?" And the guy's like, "This isn't like your ordinary book where you're looking at someone else's story." And it's pretty much saying that there are two types of books in this world. One's where you're witnessing a story, and one where, like, it's a real story, and it's you're part of it and everything. And I thought that idea was so cool because, one, not only could you have a second never-ending story type movie based on the same thing, but just two, because that idea in itself is so cool to me. Because you've read lots of books, right?
Yeah, some.
Books are dope.
They're cool.
And now just imagine going on one of those adventures. Obviously, that'd be dope. So, like, I just think you're like, I don't want to die. That seems scary.
In my favorite novel, I really don't want to be my favorite the main character.
This is Harry Potter.
No.
What's your favorite novel?
Catcher in the Rye.
Oh. Yeah, I know, but, like, adventure stories.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like, yeah.
Oh, I'd be Harry Potter in a second.
Exactly, dude. I just think the idea of a story being about a story that you are a part of and like you don't even know him, whatever. I think that's so cool and stuff. Also, that movie is just major nostalgia. Like, just the intro scene was playing, and I have watched that intro scene so many times. I started like freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, it's amazing.
we should do books as a topic.
Oh, see, I used to read a lot. I'd legit have to read another book before I did that, but I'd be down.
All right.
I don't read as much anymore, so.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
All right. Is that all you have to say?
I think that's all I have to say. Yeah. That's
okay.
it.
I'm going to go into my number 2, which is Jersey Boys. Which you have seen, like, almost half of this movie.
Yeah. I've watched a decent bit. I went to his house while he was chilling. We watched a bit.
Actually the only musical on my list, which is surprising. Because that's, like, my thing. Yeah. This movie is the real life story of the Frankie Valley and the Four Seasons. Directed by Clint Eastwood, came out in like 2014. One of my favorite movies. Well, it's one of my favorite musicals. The movie, it's pretty good. If I give it a score, I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10.
The movie?
Yeah, the movie. How
are you gonna pick something as one of your favorite movies and give it a 7.5 out of 10?
Hey, listen, I love this movie still.
Yeah, I from what I watched, it looked like a very good movie.
It's a jukebox musical, which means it's a musical that its music is all pre-recorded music, and in this case, it's music of the Four Seasons, and it's awesome. I love the cast. Almost all of the guys who play all the Four Seasons have done the musical, except for the guy who plays Tommy. He had never done the musical before, but the guy who plays Frankie in this adaptation is the guy who actually originated the role on Broadway, which is cool. But whenever I'm bored or I just want to listen to some good music while I'm watching a really good story, I'll just pop this in, and I usually don't regret it. I've seen this movie probably like 5 times, and I've only had this DVD since like November
of last year. So like,
yeah,
you've had it a few months. Yeah, it's a decent amount of watch time. Is that like, let's see, November? What are the months in order?
That's like 3 months.
3 months, 5 times watched it. Yeah. Okay. What was I gonna say? Dude, I love Four Seasons music, and that movie, from what I saw, looked pretty dang dope.
We should finish it.
I would be down.
Only thing is, do you remember where we were?
I could generally guess, but it's all good. My next movie. Have you watched Stranger Than Fiction?
No.
Great movie. I didn't think you did. That's why I asked. It's see, this one I'm definitely gonna spoil it. So spoilers. So it's a story of a guy, and he is, going about his normal life, and he lives kind of bland life. He's like an accountant, and all of a sudden, one day he wakes up and he's like brushing his teeth or whatever, and there is a voice in his head narrating his life. Mm-hmm. And he's like really confused and worried. And it's not there all the time. It just comes in sometimes and narrates stuff that's happening. And so he like goes to people to talk about it, and nobody knows what's happening. And either way, he gets in contact with like an English professor at a college, and they end up detectiving out what's happening. And pretty much his life is being narrated by an author who only writes books about how people die. And so he knows that, like, he knows how her book's gonna end, because that's the only type of book she reads.
Does this movie have Will Ferrell in it?
Yeah, it does.
Okay,
have you watched it?
No, I've heard of it though.
Oh, it's a great movie. It's a comedy, a romance, and it's absolutely
Emma Thompson
beautiful.
Plays the author, I think.
I don't know what her name is, but
it's
either
Emma
way,
Thompson.
Okay, dude. Definitely a tearjerker. it's a big oof in the Feely Boys, but it's absolutely wonderful. There's sacrifice on all sorts of parts of it. It's just beautiful, and the camera shots and everything, and the animations that they do for the watch, which is a very big part of it. I'm not gonna go into it, but it's just I love how everything is done in it, and also I do believe it was filmed in Chicago, so yeah, extra points.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a good movie. What's your next one?
Spaceballs.
I haven't watched this one either. I do have to watch it though.
This movie is hilarious. It's literally I'm always in the mood to watch Spaceballs. Like, there's just not enough I could say. It's hilarious. In like the first few minutes of the movie, where Dark Helmet puts on the Schwartz ring and hits the soldiers like nuts with it and like kills him. Just all in the behind the scenes footage, Mel Brooks said that he had like destroyed all the other like genres of movie except space, so he decided to make Spaceballs, which was a good choice. This has been like my second or third favorite movie since like I've seen it. The first time I saw it, I was probably 8 or 9 years old. Just all the slapstick humor and like dirty humor. Dirty is like, yeah. I mean, it's rated PG, so.
Just so you know, ratings weren't the same back in the past. Can I do a quick story about that?
Oh yeah, this movie came out I think in 1988.
Yeah, the rating system was not the same back
1987.
then. I'm fairly sure. I'll tell you after you're done talking about your movie.
And the fact that Mel Brooks is in this movie is awesome, because he directed it, wrote it, and played two roles in it. What else? Just the Spaceballs motives are funny. Just the fact that they want to steal air from a planet just to save their own.
Big prank. It just sounds like the plot of the Lorax.
Yeah. I don't know. If I give this a rating, a solid 9 out of 10. And I don't think I gave Mean Girls a rating. I'm going to rate that a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd give the two movies I did so far, 10 out of 10. Then I dab on them.
Right.
Okay, my quick story about how the rating thing is. Yeah, about how ratings were not the same as they were now as back then. In Spanish class in like middle school, we were watching it. No, and boy, it got sexual. No, we were watching just some comedy movie because we were pretty much finished and it was the end of the year. And she was like, "Okay, we're gonna watch this movie and like have fun and stuff." And the rating on it was either PG or PG-13, and there was some like just sexual stuff happening in it, and the teacher had to like stop it and pull it out and apologize to us, and it was hilarious.
Did you see a titty?
No, but it's more like there wasn't actual sex, but for a bunch of middle schoolers to embarrass their teacher, it wasn't even that bad. It was I don't remember offhand, but it was pretty much somebody saying that he wanted to have sex with somebody.
Do you remember
what
movie it was?
I do not in the slightest.
Oh, man.
But he was using analogies with oranges, and it was just absolutely hilarious. But it was very funny. And, yeah.
Right.
I didn't have any other movies picked off, so I'm just gonna go over some that I've watched recently that I really like. The Black Klansman. I don't know how you're actually supposed to say the name of that movie since it's spelt Black K Klansman. It's one word, I do believe.
Black Klansman, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely a phenomenal movie. I wouldn't. It's a good movie, but I feel like I wouldn't rate it like 10 out of 10. I'd say 8 or 9 out of 10 still, though. Just because I feel like it wasn't as full as it could have been if I had to give it a reason. I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm.
But still, it went over some good topics about, racism and, the black side of it and the white side of it. And it was very heartfelt, scary, detective-y, awesome. And they had this phenomenal edit. I would rate this. They edited a scene of some people getting ran over, which is very sad. But the way they did it, I cried. I full on cried.
I don't like
I no, obviously I don't like it. I'm just saying it was done amazingly. The edit, not the killing of people and injuring. But movie, absolutely wonderful. You should watch it.
Mm.
Make sure you stick around near the credits for this horrible scene that is also done amazingly. But that's one that I've watched recently that is very good.
All right.
Yeah.
I will get into the last of my movies that I have pulled that I was planning on, but I also pulled some extra ones just in case. But you had a Will Ferrell movie, now I have a Will Ferrell movie, Step Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Step Brothers, Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, a solid 9 out of 10. This movie came out in 2008. It's rated R for crude sexual content and pervasive language. So basically it's about two 40-year-old men. One
You say 4 or 40?
40.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, two 40-year-old men. Will Ferrell's character lives with his mom. John C. Reilly's lives with his dad. The parents get together, they get married, and then they have to live together. They're basically like man babies. And then they start off as stereotypical step siblings, as enemies. Then they become best friends. Then, spoiler alert, they get divorced. Then the family gets back together again. All is happy ending. This movie came out almost 11 years ago, and I'm surprised about how many times they say the F word in it. And by F word, I mean the derogatory term.
He keeps telling me this, and I'm like, it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah, but now if you say that word,
I still think their movie would
crucified.
I think their movie would still be fine, because it's not the same context.
Right.
Obviously you're not supposed to use the
context.
word, but no, it's not. It's a movie. It's it's done for the comedic effect of it. It's not.
Yeah.
If I don't say the N-word. I have the capability to say it, but I don't. But if I was doing it in a comedic way, I wouldn't feel near as bad about doing it, and people wouldn't even register it probably.
Yeah.
But
right.
yeah.
But overall, this movie is hilarious. There's still a lot of quotable quotes. The best part, in my opinion, is the big fight, where Will Ferrell's character rubs his nutsack on John C. Reilly's drum set. And for the longest time, I thought that nutsack was actually Will Ferrell's nuts, but I was wrong.
Do you do some research? Whose nuts was it?
It was just a fake pair they put in his pants. But I'm really. Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly just came out with a new movie, Holmes and Watson, that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah,
I really
dude, I want to watch that so bad. It looks like it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got one other movie.
Yeah.
You got anything else to say about that?
It's hilarious. Give 9 out of 10. Watch it as soon as you can.
Okay, I got my next one, also a 9 out of 10. Okay,
Okay.
don't overreact. It's a good movie. You just gotta trust me. The Captain Underpants animated movie. I don't know what it's fully called. Listen, Braden, you can't judge me until you've watched it. This movie is amazing. This is a masterpiece. 9 out of 10, Braden.
9 out of 10.
You gotta trust me. It's amazing. It's perfect. Nothing is bad about it. It does everything it needs to do perfectly. It's an unexpected banger.
Okay.
It's great on Netflix.
I don't know. I'm kind of giving you the shifty eyes right now.
Well, you should watch the movie and then be like, "Gavin, you was right."
Like, I wasn't even a big fan of Captain Underpants books.
You don't have to be. I didn't read the books either. I know what they were about and how the universe worked a bit, but
It
this
just,
movie,
like, looks stupid. Like,
Braden, listen. Don't judge a movie by its predecessors. Okay, this movie's great. Okay, big trust, fam, blam. Okay. I don't really. My last movies were they're not my favorite movies,
all right.
but they're still good ones.
I'm gonna not go with the movies that I pulled. I'm gonna do what you did,
Mhm.
and well, I will get to these once I get done with the latest movie I saw in theaters, which was Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. That
This
movie
man.
was amazing, except for one plot. I'm not gonna tell you what it was. The canon
Yeah,
inconsistency.
You can tell me. I'm gonna
Okay.
watch it soon anyway. It doesn't really matter.
Professor McGonagall was in the movie, and this movie takes place in 1927, and she should not even be alive. And yet she's teaching at Hogwarts. And so,
Wait, how old is she in it?
in Order of the Phoenix, which takes place in 1995, she had said she was teaching at Hogwarts for 39 years this December, and she joined started teaching 2 years after her graduation, which makes her birth year around 1938, 1937-ish.
When does this other movie happen?
1927.
But Dumbledore's in it, right?
Yeah, but we have his birthday.
And he's older,
it's
yeah.
all right, and that is okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
That would be a big old plot booty hole.
So the big theory is that she's using a time turner to go back in time, which doesn't make sense because in I just finished rereading the Prisoner of Azkaban
Like, I gotta
book,
double check this.
and I just finished rereading Prisoner of Azkaban, where time turners are introduced, and they say that you cannot be seen when you go back, or else it messes everything up. And if she's going back and teaching at Hogwarts, she's obviously being seen.
She teaches herself.
It's just dumb.
Yeah, I could understand that. That
It's
would be
just-
annoying.
And then you find out who Credence Barebone actually is. I'm not going to spoil it because that's the big twist of the movie. But it's not something I was expecting. You were expecting him to be Corvus Lestrange from like the trailers, but spoiler alert, he's not.
Spoiler alert, Braden's salty.
Like if he was Corvus Lestrange, it would just make everything just way easier to understand because you actually have to think about who he actually is and how that doesn't work.
Okay. I've got some, not a TV.
I would give that movie a solid 9 out of 10.
Okay.
It would be a
I've
10 out of
got-
10 if there wasn't the stupid canon plot hole thing.
Yeah. I've got something that is not a movie, but something I watched recently that has like something off about it as well. So, the new Doctor Who season.
Never seen her.
Yeah.
Never heard of her.
He says her, which is funny because Doctor Who in the most recent series has always been a man, but in this one, he's a woman, which is fine in the show and everything. But I don't know, something about the show doesn't feel the same.
It's because she's a woman Given's a misogynist.
Exactly. No, I was kidding. It's just like I feel like even the episodes aren't the same. The Doctor always has like a companion or companions that go time traveling with him slash her. Nope, he's a male originally, so I can say him. And it doesn't feel the same. It feels like they're trying to go over too many topics, for the sake of going over them. They had a pregnant man. They have, people and their issues like, oh, my father was never there for me, which are fine issues, but it's just not something I feel is usually gone over in Doctor Who,
Yeah.
I feel like they were kind of trying to shove it in there. I also feel like some of their stories in this season just weren't as good. At the end, it did start to feel a little bit more like the old Doctor Who, but it just felt off, which that's never.
I don't know. I
good.
never been into Doctor Who personally.
Yeah, I was curious. Are you into like sci-fi things? I know you like Harry Potter a lot, but I don't really.
Kinda.
Okay.
I mean, I'll watch them. They're not my first choice.
Okay.
All right.
Just curious.
Do you want me to go with the movies that I pulled, my extra ones? Because I know.
Sure.
All right.
Enlighten
I got
us.
a lot of them. They're the Harry Potter movies, yeah.
I've got a lot of them. Every single Harry Potter movie. Dude, honestly, I love the first Harry Potter movie for sure, and I think like the next two as well.
Okay, I'm gonna. You want me to like lightning round them?
Yeah, lightning round them.
Okay, Sorcerer's Stone. It sticks to the book pretty well. Probably an 8 out of 10. Chamber of Secrets, the worst book and the worst movie in my opinion. Probably maybe like 5 out of 10.
That's pretty low.
Prisoner of Azkaban, it's okay. Cinematically, it's probably the best of all of them. It sticks to the plot all right. 6 out of 10. Goblet of Fire is trash. 5 out of 10. Doesn't stay to the book very well. You could easily find the plot twist at the end just by watching, not even that carefully. Dumbledore asked calmly. I'm just gonna say that. For all my book people. Order of the Phoenix. People say that the book is the worst book. I actually kind of enjoyed that book. The movie's okay. It was my favorite for a long time. Half-Blood Prince is my favorite book of the series, but it's probably my second least favorite movie because it just says F you to the book because it focuses on like relationships. It turned it into a romantic comedy, which is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like the book was filled of like a bunch of scenes going into the pensive, finding out about Voldemort's past and why he became who he is.
Is this the one? What happened in this movie? Is this the one where Hermione has that purse that like she pulls out
that's
freaking
the
tent?
next one.
Okay, I'm just trying to wrap my head around which one we're at.
And 5 out of 10. Deathly Hallows Part 1 sticks to the book all right. Wish they would have put in Regulus and Creature's story. The dancing scene is trash. It's kind of boring just watching it it takes place mostly in the woods, them camping looking for Horcruxes. Probably 7.5 out of 10. Deathly Hallows Part 2 is my favorite of the movies. You see Voldemort destroyed. He's probably one of my favorite villains of all time. They find all the rest of the Horcruxes. They go back to Hogwarts. Just yeet on all the Death Eaters, kill them, dead. Is awesome. 8.5 out of 10.
Is that all? Oh, okay.
I'm done.
I just thought of some stuff that I wanted to talk about while you were talking. So, you said one of the movies just like trying to be a romantic comedy and like just strayed far away from what the book was doing.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched Hellboy?
When I was like 5.
Okay. It's just a cool action movie, isn't it?
Are Hellboy Was that a book before?
No, but there's a new movie coming up, and from what I've seen, they're going off of what the original one was, and that's why I brought it up. But the original movie, it was like a cool action movie, correct?
Yeah.
I swear to God, they're just trying to make this next one into a comedy, and I watched the trailer and got upset. And I'm not usually one of those people who is like, oh, they're not making it exactly the same and how I want it. But like, I just feel like it's such a drastic change with no explanation, you know?
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing where it's like, wait, what are you doing? What are you doing?
That's kind of dumb.
Yeah, well, on the other hand, the new Spider-Man trailer just got released today, and that just looks like it's going to be epic and just how it should be.
They just came out with a new Spider-Man movie, though.
No, but that's not the same series.
And like, why are they doing Spider-Man again? He's dead.
It's before it happened. Obviously, you know Marvel trying to make money, but still, now the Spider-Man movie is coming out soon. Looks like it's going to be just a good old Spider-Man movie.
I don't know if they're gonna bring him back in Endgame.
That's the other thing I wanted to talk about.
I kind of want to. I actually haven't seen any of the Avengers movies, but like I want to like watch them all before Endgame comes out.
But did you watch whatever was the most recent one?
Infinity War, no.
Brayden, what are you doing?
Dude,
that's what I wanted to talk about next. Like, usually I don't really care about, oh my God, you haven't watched this? But Infinity War was such a banger movie.
I mean, it was spoiled for me, so like I was just like, eh.
Well, I mean, dude, I still cried at the end, so or almost cried, I think. Yeah, it was sad. My eyes watered for sure. But
I'm not a crier at movies.
Listen, okay.
Probably just because like
you've seen the meme, okay, Mr. Stark. I don't feel so good. Tears,
like
sucked out of my eyeballs.
Like as an actor myself, I know it's fake, and so like
it doesn't. See that's where you're wrong. I fully understand acting and filming and pretty much all the parts of making a movie and stuff, but when you're watching a movie or a TV show or anything where people are acting, you have to let yourself believe it, you know?
And as an actor who has made people cry on stage, making people cry is more fun than crying at something.
I like making people cry.
No, but dude, during the last show I was in, I literally made like my mom cry, one of my friends' moms cry. It was...
Yeah, but obviously they know what's happening on stage isn't real. They let themselves believe it, you know?
Yeah.
Which I'm just saying you got to try doing sometime because it really enhances the movie-going experience.
So are we done talking about movies? We could just
we're pretty much drifting off the original topic.
Now we
which
can
I'm not
just
surprised
talk
we drifted
about
off.
why we like movies.
Yeah.
So why do you like movies, Given?
I just love, being taken into a story. And you can do that sort of stuff with, like, books and TV shows. But books, you got to dedicate more time. Actually, both of those books and TV shows, you have to dedicate more time into getting that story. You can't just read a good book in, like, 2 hours, which is, the longest you're going to sit around watching a movie normally. And a TV show, that's, like, a day / multiple days worth of stuff to get a story. And a movie is just like the perfect middle ground where you can do everything that is needed to just have a banger story with good acting, good filming, editing, all of it, just combined together into one awesome thing.
I love movie nights just because get a bunch of friends together, a bunch of snacks, get like 3 to 5 movies and just bang them all out. Shut up. I could have ordered that better, but hey.
It's all good.
Just
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. From the way you worded it, I feel like you're not appreciating the movie, which is what movies are about. Maybe I'm just a person.
I'm appreciating the movie, and I'm also appreciating the company of my friends.
Yeah. See, now me on the other hand, I would appreciate the company of my friends up until the point where the movie started, and then it literally doesn't matter if they're there or not. It's like I'm gonna watch this movie. I'm gonna enjoy this movie.
Mm.
Do you have any like really bad movies you can talk about, like where you just sitting there and you're like, this is doo doo? I have one offhand that I can think of.
Mamma Mia.
Yeah, his man. He doesn't like ABBA in general.
Just because the musical is trash. Not even the fact that I just don't like the music. I just don't like the story. It's just lame in my opinion.
I have partially watched the first movie, and it wasn't a bad movie for sure.
What movie?
Mamma Mia.
Oh.
I'm still talking about what you're talking about.
There's a second one. That's also trash.
I haven't watched the second one either, but
Neither
I've
have
been
I,
told
but
it's
it's trash.
amazing. Yeah, Braden's being his what's it called? I can't remember the word when he already has his opinions himself. But a movie that I think is bad and the general populace thinks is bad. I've never even watched all of it. Avatar: The Last Airbender, the movie in real life.
Trash. Yeah.
It's like my friend said he watched the whole thing through and it was bad. I always get like 10 minutes into it and I just can't. I'm like, stop. And then I was watching somebody talk about it and they were showing clips from it and it just looked like it gets worse throughout the movie. And I'm like, boy, how to ruin it,
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I love movies, but like, I have to be like in the mood to watch them. Like, I have a bunch of DVDs of my own that are in my room, and I don't watch them all the time. Like, some of my favorite movies I just haven't seen in a long time. Like, I have The Martian right now, and I love it. I just haven't watched it in probably a year and a half. Well, actually,
Hold on a second. I have a question. Is The Martian the one where he propels himself through space with his air tube or whatever, or like nicks a hole in his finger?
Yeah.
I think that scene is dumb. I think
Why?
that scene is very dumb.
Why, you don't think it's real? Like, realistic?
No, not in the slightest. Have you seen it? What, he just turns into Iron Man all of a sudden?
He says
What is this?
And fly
I was
like
like,
Iron Man.
that whole movie was good until that scene happened, and then I'm legit just sitting there with a upset face for the rest of the movie.
I thought that was okay.
No. I think it also might be, I have an eye for, I said this earlier in this podcast, but like when things are CG and it's like super obvious, him just flying about and stuff, I'm like, just stop.
Maybe I'll watch The Martian tonight just to lean on you.
I mean, that's fine. Okay, well, I mean, I think we might have rounded this off okay. I thought we wouldn't be able to because I'm like, we haven't watched each of the movies we're talking about recently. We don't have them all at the tip of our tongues, ready to spill the beans over why they're amazing. But we were able to round it off, pull it off.
So, connecting this into your life, dear listener,
I think I'm gonna have to go with what I was telling you to do. When you guys are watching stuff, especially movies, you have to try your best to just appreciate it for what it is.
and just
because that's the experience.
Watch what you like. Don't watch what you don't like.
Yeah, because that can ruin your opinion.
If you like a movie, if you haven't seen a movie that people think is like godly,
just give it a chance. A little bit.
Because like, there's a lot of movies that I haven't seen that people like crucify.
I still need to watch Spaceballs. So
yeah. I'm not gonna say, but yeah. You want to just leave it at that?
Yeah, I don't know what you were leaving it at, but we can leave it there. Guys,
right.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Idiots.
Oh wait, I want to say something. This episode, one of my favorite podcasts of all time is called Bacon and Eggs, and it's a movie review podcast. And so like, I took like the rating system. They do it differently, but I like the fact that they rate the movies that they review, and they take a whole episode and dedicate it just to one movie.
That's something that I would be interested in. That's why I wanted to watch my favorite, The Neverending Story again, Because like I only watched 5 minutes, and I was like busting at the seams of how good it was.
As to where in this podcast alone, I talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 movies all on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we didn't go in depth, but hey,
Yeah.
that's all. Okay, that's what I want to say. I love that podcast, and I recommend it.
Okay. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to show your support. We'll see you guys next time. Yeet.
See ya.